This is a story beyond the headline, very sad story. A Black federal worker dies after being stressed out over layoffs. Maryland. In Maryland, the family of Monique Lockett, a federal worker who died at her job 2 months ago, believes her stress and uncertainty about the current White House administration's sweeping overhaul of federal agencies contributed to their loved one's death. Ms. Lockett died on the 18th of February at a job at SSA, Social Security Administration. She was on the campus just outside of Baltimore. She walked into the building, fell asleep at her desk, never woke up. That's according to a police report cited by CNN. She worked there for 25 years, was just 5 years from retirement. Now, while this is one story, and I have a lot of additional details, please know this is a microcosm of the macrocosm. I receive emails consistently from people around the country who feel the pain, the burden, the pressure, the stress of what may happen. One mother shared with me that she could no longer pay for her son's college tuition because if or when she gets the axe, she has no retirement. She has to now go into survival mode for her and the family just because of the recklessness of this administration. In the weeks leading up to her death, Monique's sister, Kasha, said Monique was deeply troubled by how Elon Musk and his agenda as head of the DOGE, or DOGE as I call the department, to carry out major federal spending cuts, mass layoffs, et cetera, how it may impact her job. Quote, my sister had a lot of anxiety around the changes that were happening in other agencies and inevitably what would happen to Social Security. She told CNN she was concerned about the overall well-being of everybody that she worked with because it was stressful for a lot of people. Yeah, and she also put in 25 years, 5 years from retirement. I'm sure she had colleagues in a very similar situation she cared for deeply. According to a spokesperson for the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, Maryland, Ms. Lockett died of hypertensive cardiovascular disease, which causes plaque buildup in the arteries. Monique's sister said that her sister also had high blood pressure and was obese. 2019 medical journal cited by the National Institutes of Health states that chronic psychological stress can increase the risk of the disease as well as strokes and also heart attacks. It's unclear what triggered Ms. Lockett precisely. Fatal health complications happened on the day of her death, but you cannot be for sure what was cause and effect. But the sister believes stress might have been a factor. I agree. She noted that Monique was also feeling undervalued at her job in her final days. Quote, it was very upsetting to hear. It was very upsetting to her to hear that what they did wasn't valued. What they did wasn't important, and certainly that what they did was wasteful. You know, it's so sad. The reason Monique feels this way or felt that way at the time is because she identified her value, at least in some part, connected to the service that she provided via that position. Many of us do that. And it's not wrong to do. And all of a sudden you have Johnny-come-latelys who really don't know what they're doing, nor do they care, marginalizing you and making others believe that you should be marginalized. Co-workers told police that Monique did not display visible signs of distress before she fell asleep at her desk. Paramedics spent about 40 minutes trying to revive her. They were unsuccessful. The 53-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Quote, "What happened to Monique was truly sad and tragic, literally shook me to the core," an SS employee told CNN. A former SS worker stated that agency employees have received multiple emails from the Trump administration inquiring about their productivity levels, which has had a whiplash effect on the workforce. Quote, "is creating a level of anxiety that's making it hard to do their jobs. These are good people who are being traumatized," former employee said. Please understand, and I mean this for those who may be in a stressful work environment or other environment. If it costs you your peace, it costs too much. If it costs you your peace, it costs too much. This lady is dead. Family loves her. We don't live our lives out here. We live our lives inside. If what's happening inside doesn't feel right every day, what else do you have? We have to live our lives in here. Monique was an information technology specialist. She worked at the Office of Systems Architecture, SSA's office, which creates databases for sensitive data managed by the agency. Former colleagues said she was, quote, "one of our best," and, quote, "very familiar with the existing data repositories that we have at the agency." In the months since Donald Trump took power in the White House, administration officials have granted several of Elon Musk representatives access to sensitive data on millions of Americans to facilitate the quasi-agency's purported purpose of discovering whether fraud is happening in the SSA payment system. Trump has stated that he will not cut Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare benefits. But in March, in a March 11th fact check report from the White House, the administration reported that SSA has made an estimated $72 billion in improper payments between 2015 and 2022. So last month, billionaire U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick remarked that if SSA missed sending a payment to his 94-year-old mother-in-law, she would simply wait until next month and wouldn't call in to complain, using her example to suggest that, quote, "a fraudster always makes the loudest noise," end quote, and only someone defrauding the system would complain about a missed payment instead. The Daily Beast reports that records indicate Lambert Lutnick's mother-in-law lives with him and his wife in their Upper East Side penthouse, just like a billionaire. Yeah. I mean, if my mother misses it, she's not going to call. She's going to wait. You think these individuals are gaslighting, and sometimes they are, obviously. But sometimes they are this disconnected from the fact that we have senior citizens who have worked their entire lives having to figure out, can I buy bread or medicine? Pulling pennies together, making miracles happen every month. While individuals like him, they have no peers in that socioeconomic scenario. Nor does he care to. Elon Musk voiced his disapproval of the SSA during an interview. This was February 28th. He was on the Joe Rogan show, calling the agency, quote, the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. In an interview with Fox Business, Musk said, quote, the waste and fraud and entitlement spending is the big one to eliminate. Musk, you are an expert in understanding what a Ponzi scheme is, sir. However, this administration is not. Does it require remedy, repair, and resurrection? Yes. But a Ponzi scheme? Come on. All right, Jackson, thoughts?
I think one of the more profound statements that you've made that I've heard you say that's very true is that we live our lives inside. It really is true. And one of the reasons that I bring that back up is that Elon Musk, the man who's causing all of this trouble for people, spent 300 million something dollars to be in the position that he's in. One of the statements that he made recently, he said that empathy is a weakness, that one of the biggest weaknesses of the West is empathy.
He sure did.
And it's what a projection that is. He doesn't have the ability to feel and understand other people. And so he doesn't care that, this is happening to people. He doesn't care that people don't know how they're going to pay their bills or where they're going to get money to pay their insurance from. He doesn't care that people count on their Social Security checks. All he's interested in is getting more government subsidies and eliminating the federal investigations into both himself and his companies, which he's effectively done at this point. That's all he cares about. So, when he says that empathy is a weakness, of course that's wrong. Empathy is one of the greatest strengths that anybody can have. I mean, that's been some of the greatest lessons I've learned in life were from moments that I lacked empathy, where I wasn't thinking about somebody else and I caused issues because of it. Or maybe I hurt somebody because of it. So at least if you feel some guilt and some shame, at least you're not like Elon Musk because that man feels no guilt and shame about anything he's ever done. So, it's really just a shame to watch all of this destruction unfold at the likes of somebody like him.
I'm glad you brought up that statement. I remember when he made that statement and I thought to myself, I said, wow, that's actual evil. So people think evil is bad. Well, evil is the promotion of nobody else but self. That's evil. And his world, he is everybody's superior. And the great dynamic of empathy is that it allows you to have these other experiences like love. You cannot love without empathy. It allows you to have these other experiences like forgiveness, decency, humanity. So we literally have people who lack the full range of emotional connective ability and brag about it. this is our current state.